G'day everyone, Tempo here, and welcome to the TD Project. In today's episode, I want to talk about something that's been on my mind for quite some time, and this is partly inspired by current events that are happening over in America. Shout out to America, and any of my American viewers, if I happen to have any American viewers, let me know. But anyway, this isn't just about what's currently happening over there. This happens once every so often, whenever something awful to quite an extreme magnitude happens. Usually it's a racially fueled incident and it leads to protests, and then the protests tend to lead to looting and rioting, and there's a part of me that just doesn't quite understand the link. So maybe you guys can help me out with this one, explain to me the link between protesting and looting and rioting. Help me out in the comments below. But anyway, I'm just going to share my thought about this, and maybe we can help each other out afterwards with the discussion down in the comments below. But anyway, so we get these protests which get triggered by something awful happening, usually something that's highly racist, usually on a systematic or institutionalized level. And then you get these protests, and somewhere along the line the protests tend to turn into looting and rioting. And I'm just throwing this out there, this usually only happens in America. It's very rare that something like this happens in Australia, where we get something awful which then triggers protests, which then leads to looting and rioting. I'm not saying it doesn't happen or hasn't happened, but I'm saying it's more likely to occur in America. That's just something that I've noticed from picking up news articles over my many years on this planet. And I used to believe that the looting and the rioting was a part of the protests, but there's a part of me now that wants to believe that the looters and the rioters aren't the protesters. I honestly want to believe that the looting and rioting is not related to the protest, and that they're just using the protest as a means to loot and riot. Because take the current events happening in America right now. An African American person has died due to the actions of a racist police officer, and then from there the whole thing spiraled out of control to go from protest to looting and rioting, and you have cars and buildings being smashed in, set on fire, and people are just stealing whatever they can get their hands on, and they're all like, oh, it's in the name of this protest, it's in the name of this cause. The police is corrupt, so I might as well get my hands on a $10,000 TV and some Louis Vuitton bags, or whatever it is you guys are stealing. Just on a side note, if the government or the system was corrupt and they were heavily and obviously enforcing massive differentiations in classes, and they were actively encouraging poverty, and then looting and rioting happened and people were stealing food, just as an example, right? I could kind of understand that. But when an incident like what has happened happens, and people are just stealing stuff they don't necessarily need, and they're just breaking stuff they don't necessarily have to break, and just all these people and all these innocent people behind this stuff are now getting affected as well. Okay, you want to send a message to the police force and the government, and you're not going to take that crap anymore, but don't go smashing other people's property, don't go stealing other people's property that aren't necessarily directly related to this. People are smashing into shops, and it's not just large corporations. People are also breaking into and looting stuff from small businesses, and many of these small business owners are African American. It's I'm gonna protest for Black Lives Matter and stick it to the man by looting the life's work of another black person. Help me out here, guys. I'm struggling to see the link here. So when I was younger, I used to believe that looting and rioting was just a means of people protesting. There's a part of me now that wants to believe, and I hope it's true, that there are people out there protesting and they want to do the protest peacefully, and there's just people taking advantage of that don't necessarily care about the protests and what the protests stand for, and they're just using this as an excuse to loot and riot because stuff the system. I need to smash a Mercedes and a Porsche because the police are corrupt, and that's my stand against them. Like, I just don't see it, guys. Please help me out. Like, to the people over in America attempting to protest peacefully, if there's any of you guys watching this, please, I want to hear your thoughts down in the comments below, and what's your thoughts on the looters and rioters, because honestly, I feel if there's a protest going on and then people claim to be affiliated with that protest and they're looting and rioting, I feel it undermines everything the protest stands for. It just undermines it. It just throws all the hard work out. It just makes all that work and effort for nothing, because you got a group of people, which I hope are the majority, but they seem like minority, and you got this group of people protesting peacefully to try and get change in a peaceful kind of manner, and you got people just pissing all over that because they want to steal a bunch of TVs and damage businesses and buildings and burn cars and just damn whoever gets affected because stuff the police. Like, I just don't see it, guys. I just don't see it. If there is a link, please let me know. Like, explain the link to me, because as far as I'm concerned, I don't really see a genuine link between protesting and looting and rioting, especially the way it is happening right now. But I guess that's just my opinion. But yeah, be sure to, let's get some discussion going down in the comments below. And yeah, do all those YouTube things, guys. You know, what do I say? Like, comment, share, subscribe, get notified. Be kind, rewind, and yeah, hopefully I'll see you guys in the next one.